What in life leaves us tired? What in life causes us fatigue? Here Jesus says to his disciples, be watchful, be alert. May the Lord not come suddenly and find you sleeping. This is day one of Advent, a brand new year. And here we are being exhorted to not be found sleeping at the arrival of the Lord. It's our time to make preparations, to be prepared. It's an amazing opportunity to begin anew with New Year resolutions. To use a colloquial term, Jesus, he wants us to be up and at 'em. You could say spiritually awake, alert, healthy, strong. And this is among the great geniuses of Catholicism, that the church realizes that we need to prepare for everything that's important. For instance, there's a big game, big basketball game to play. We don't show up to the game expecting to win the game unless we've spent time preparing for that game. Say we have a big meeting or presentation coming up at work or in school. We don't just show up to the big meeting or presentation unprepared and expect it to go well. We prepare for everything that we consider most important in life. The Catholic Church realizes the arrival of the Lord. There is no thing more important, and we don't want to miss the Lord's advent, his arrival. Now, when does the Lord arrive? How does he arrive? Well, we know there's Christ's advent at the end of time. This will be his second coming. And the church wants our life daily to be in preparation for that day. But then there's Christ's advent at Christmas. This was his first coming. And now we celebrate that every year. And the church wants us to not be asleep by the time Christmas comes around, to really be ready to celebrate that. But then too, and we must not forget, there's Christ's advent today. Christ is coming at each and every present moment, how he comes to meet us, to not be distracted, drowsy, asleep, and miss how the Lord is right here today, wanting to meet us. And so there's a real need to prepare for these. Christ coming at the end of time, to prepare for his coming at Christmas, and to really be awake and watchful, asking, Lord, how are you arriving right now in the midst of my life and its circumstances? And so the church gives us this wonderful season. We hear, be watchful, be alert. May the Lord not come suddenly and find you sleeping. We hear, that's what we heard today, these words from Jesus. But we hear those are some equivalent every first Sunday of Advent. In another gospel, the way Jesus puts it, he says, beware that your hearts do not become drowsy. Drowsy. How do they become drowsy? From the anxieties and the concerns of daily life. How life can just wear us down. How many of us experience that? Become drowsy or tired or fatigued to some degree from what's happening in life and our anxieties and concerns over that. I know I do. I know I do. In life and the ways in which I might try to cope with that. You know, there's all different strategies we have to cope with that. That can actually leave us more wore down. And so this season that the church gives, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to declutter our life from all that's maybe accumulated or bad habits that we've had creep in, pile in during this past year. And the church is like, all right, let's have a new beginning, a new day, a new season. Advent's the time to be restored, decluttered, having our focus on the Lord and how He is right here arriving in the midst of our lives. And so a question for us all is, what are those things? Are there bad habits or earthly concerns, activities that have made my heart grow tired, sort of distracted it from the real arrival of the Lord? What am I caught up in that can actually steal that focus? And then from there, identifying these things, how might I put my trust and my attention on heaven, on the Lord, seeing His arrival? One prayer I think of, many of us are familiar, on just the first line. I think it's a helpful way to sort of be freed from the anxieties of daily life and to really put our focus to God. And so that's the serenity prayer. And in that prayer, what we pray is, "O God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference."